up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen under God blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Better we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. You can tune in from work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen under God blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. That's why together for better we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Monday, the 19th of May, 2025. I'm Mose Hyde, hosting the conversation right here on XTV and on Prem Radio to start the week off. And a warm welcome to those who are tune in, they listen to the radio, to those viewing us on XTV, checking us out on our apps, social media streams, simulcast coverage. Come on in. We are waking up with you this morning, and we, of course, trust that you've got great health, your energy levels high, vibrations positive, and that we understand early morning you got a ton of stuff to do, get your day started right, but that you still have the ability to link, and hopefully we able to get some participation out of you this morning. That would be excellent. We don't jump right into the show. We've got to serve up a little preliminary stuff for you. We've got a quick update from our news team. That's a morning news update. Before we do that, we find out what kind of weather we are expecting over the next 24 hours. That's not our area of expertise. We turn to the experts at the National Meteorological Service to tell us what the weather looks like. And forecaster on duty this morning, forecaster Francisco Wellington, is going to start off WUB today.
Morning. Warm and mostly dry conditions will support sunny skies with cloudy spells today, cloudy skies tonight. Little or no rain will develop, and this trend will continue Tuesday and Tuesday night. Winds today will blow from the east and southeast at 10 to 20 knots, producing moderate seas. Low tides will occur at 8:05 this morning and 9:57 tonight. High tides follow at 4:23 tomorrow morning and 3:29 tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures this afternoon will peak at 85 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 90 along the coast, and 97 inland. Heat alert is in effect for the country, especially for residents inland. All are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities as much as possible. The moon will set at 10:23 this morning, followed by sunset at 6:19 this evening. In the sargassum forecast, satellite imagery and surface observations continue to show large quantities of sargassum over our area, and this trend is expected to continue for the next few days. In the fire forecast, the fire risk around the country is very high and will remain so for another 24 hours. That's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Do have a pleasant day.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
And now the news. In the Belize High Court on May 15th, Justice Nadine Nabi ruled that the July 2020 state of emergency was unconstitutional. The SOE was challenged in court by a group of 16 men who were detained for periods of 17 to 88 days, stating that the actions of the Belize Police Department violated their fundamental rights. Justice Nabi agreed. She noted that the government failed to prove that the level of threat justified the suspension of their constitutional rights, emphasized that the extension for 2 additional months was also unjustified, and that the men were not taken before a review tribunal. Justice Nabi awarded the men compensatory damages of $12,000 to $25,000 and an additional $7,000 each in vindicatory damages, for a total of over $300,000. This is a stark contrast to the ruling of Justice Rajiv Gunetilekis a couple of weeks prior, who ruled that the July 2020 SOE was lawfully declared. Justice Gunetileki said the crime situation at the time justified the declaration and said that the government needed to act urgently to protect its citizens, which is allowed under the Constitution. With both arriving at completely different rulings, it is expected that the decisions may eventually be resolved in the Court of Appeal or the Caribbean Court of Justice. UDP's Central Executive Committee status quo ante on Sunday issued a press release detailing what was discussed during a meeting held that day at the party's headquarters in Belize City. The release states that the committee discussed the way forward for the party, including constituency conventions, the convening of a national party council meeting, the matter of expelled members, among other topics. Regarding the expelled members, the committee unanimously decided in a vote to reinstate the expelled members. However, they must comply with the party's constitution, which states requires a public apology and a pledge to abide by the conditions of the membership in the party. On the matter of the constituencies, the committee agreed that all will be open to conventions beginning in July for an October national convention. Leader of the opposition, Honorable Tracy Panton, later posted on her Facebook page, "I will not be distracted by dysfunction. I will not be intimidated by dictators. I will not be held hostage by misogynistic or narcissistic individuals who are driven solely by self-preservation and illusions of some self-imposed power. Those who are intent to dismantle the structures of the UDP, destabilize its base, and silence voices of the people will not win. You see, there is no losing when you put people first." There have been claims of sexual misconduct against a Bomapon primary school teacher. According to a parent, it was discovered that a female teacher had sent explicit videos and images to a Standard 6 student. The parent claimed that no official investigation or criminal charges have been filed against the teacher, who has been suspended since March. The parent is now requesting prompt action from the Belize Police Department and pertinent child protection organizations. Meanwhile, in rural Toledo, there are reports that 2 teachers from Corazon Creek Technical High School have been placed on administrative leave since April 29th. The teachers are being investigated following allegations of sexual misconduct. The school's management reported the accusations to the Belize Teaching Service Commission, which confirmed that the school's management is conducting a thorough investigation. The People's United Party and Sunday secured victory by default in Sandhill, Belize District, as no other candidates were nominated to contest in the upcoming village council elections. Incumbent Darren Leal will serve as chairman for a second consecutive term. And that's the end of the morning news update. We'll take ourselves a small break. When we come back, we're going to open up for the business of conversation here inside the WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Creme Radio, XTV. We'll be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local
All right, welcome back. WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on this Monday morning, and it's time for Make a Reason again. We do that because we have a phone line that you can call, and that number is 280-5848. And just in case you're tuning in now, I'm Mose, and it is time for Belize's premier morning conversation. We don't hope to spend the morning just here to talk with yourself. We love and hope that you got that spirit of participation and that you understand how this thing works and you feel comfortable and normal for just call and give your thoughts and views. Remember, we don't try to dictate where you feel, where you think, or where you want to talk about. We don't have to be dictator like that. We just hope to be partners in our conversation and make a reason about things. That's the way it works. Again, the number is 280-5848. That's the direct line. Coming off of the weekend, the report that we hear about, and to be honest, I guess it's a part of how these things work. Unfortunately, that sometimes matters are before the court and like everybody might be up to date and know where they go on. We are now told that a very significant ruling happened. Well, two significant rulings took place on state of emergency, and the particular state of emergency is the one in 2020. That maybe the first implementation of the state of emergency, and that was the COVID state of emergency. And so a couple of things I want to comment on that. So one of the verdicts, the two verdicts, one was earlier, one took place last week, and they are opposite verdicts. So one High Court judge said, yes, the SOE was constitutional, and government had the power and had the justification to declare an emergency and essentially to take away what would be your rights. And another High Court judge ruled, wrong, state is wrong, pay damages and compensation to these particular individuals. I think about 16 of them, a grand total of about $300,000. That's on us. And so some people are commenting on the fact that there are two different verdicts. Some people are commenting on one verdict. The comments that I've seen dealt with the compensation part. That catch your eye. Money. Then, brother, again, money. Before I really deal with the verdicts, just a couple of things about this. So we have spent a certain amount of hours here on the WB talking about the SOE. And we, at least, we've been consistent for the most part. Let me speak about myself. I've been consistent. I am not a supporter of the SOE. From the first one to the remix versions of it, I'm not a supporter of the SOE. That is not the same or as somehow because you're not a supporter of the SOE, sometimes somebody will say, well, then you love death and mayhem. You don't love results, because every time we put in the SOE, we put on brakes upon the murder. So that has been an ongoing debate that we've had. And we've had that conversation. And in fact, I have been of the view, even in the remix versions, the last one, not the one presently being done, that the whole process of taking people in, holding them, and then, as I recall, the last installment of the SOE, the so-called tribunal, which when you look at it, who made up the tribunal, well, it's like, well, the tribunal itself and the composition of the tribunal, in my view, can be questioned. And when I spoke to SOE members at the time, again, this is not the present version of the SOE, not the 2025 one, I felt and encouraged them to challenge the constitutionality of their detention. And I felt it was important to do. At the time, I was not aware that it was being challenged. At least the first one in 2020 was being challenged. So I wasn't aware. I would assume, they say no good for assume, but this morning I have no choice but to assume until I know more definitively and more accurately that the lawyers involved with both these cases, I feel, must have done it as a kind of, well, okay, at the minimum, some kind of arrangement where we are try it. If it works out, then you pay me, because I can't imagine that these guys, could have get together and have the money up front for deal with lawyers. So I am of the assumption, again, I don't know this to be a fact. So an assumption that the lawyers involved, both these cases, did it initially, at least in the upfront. They were not saying, well, you don't have to pay me for this, which very often when people feel like they have been denied their constitutional rights on cases like these, they are hard pressed to find legal representation, adequate legal representation, when I work with them. So many times regular citizens feel like the system they chance them in various things, not just one matter. I say the biggest one, SOE, but on a regular basis, everyday life, people sometimes will find, well, not sometimes, but that's why we have input talk shows, right? Because people, they call in based on very often a bulk of, over the years of people participation, got to deal with people feeling like then they get chance. But for say utilize the court system, that is always looked on as problematic because you have to got money to do that. So sometimes we would tell people, oh, I don't tax your host and I don't know as much as nowhere near where I lie and know that whole art farm, and utilizing the courts that we're probably supposed to go. But that is problematic, and that is something I feel like should be addressed. Access to the courts. In this case, there was access, and the matter was brought in before judges, as it should be in a country that claims that we're in a place of the rule of law. Well, you can't be in a place of the rule of law if I can't get a law for rule unless I have resources. That's something that I find to be, a contradiction, or a deficiency, no good. So I want to firstly say I am pleased to know, even though you have two different results, I think we should say, listen, first of all, make we all agree. When you have things like this, we want the judiciary forgive one ruling for make we know. And yes, the judiciary is made of human beings, and because they're not human beings, they got bias, and they're not perfect. Sometimes they're wrong. They're life. But the option to that for make we not got no rule at all. Right? So, not perfect, and maybe downright need to be better, but that they will go. And so, for me, I very encouraged that this matter went before these justices, and that they ruled. And they both had different interpretations. They had different ruling. No, that's the way it is. Now, I don't know. So this is where it becomes choppy to rough, because the government is in a position to challenge the ruling that they lost. I don't know if those who lost to the government have the resources or the ability to continue on to have this matter reach the appeals court. And usually what happens is that, and the matter has to be resolved. I believe the way it works is that law is based on precedents. And so enough time cases are argued based on precedents that have been set elsewhere. In this case, we have two different precedents, right, being set. So the matter is unresolved. And ultimately, again, if we want to place the rule of law, and again, it's an aspiration. I'm not saying that, I'm declaring that we are, but at least we say we want to be. We say that this is what it should be. Then the way these things work is that you would want to know that it reaches its highest the highest court, not just the appeals court, but you go through the process, and this is why we have the highest court that we have in our judiciary, which is the CCJ. And you would want this matter to be well resolved there. Meanwhile, we are carrying on business as usual SOE. We have, I believe it's the 5th or 6th installment of the SOE. And it is the one, I believe, that has caused the least conversation, because now SOE become normal. We don't used to it. The first time it happened, a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth, conversation, debate. There was none prior to it. It was just done, and then in its aftermath, we had some backlash. People come forward, getting thoughts, bap, 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 bap. And ever since, there's been a kind of a gradual reduction in how much conversation we have about whether or not this is what we want to do. But this installment is just, should we or shouldn't? Maybe we have to. Things get drastic. Then they think about it. Then you know what? Will they do it? And they do it. And except for maybe the close family members of those who have been detained, no, but they don't really study that. Moving on. But there were some comments that I saw where people were like, how we end up to pay people where, quote unquote, the state and the society said they're not the bad guys, and then they end up, how they might end up now giving them money, because now people will watch the money, right? The 16 guys, they end up, at least to this point, we don't know whether or not the matter is going to be appealed. I think that is a very likely possibility. They end up with the money, and once they end up with the money, no! We pay attention to where we're gonna, yeah, right? Like how dare they, these individuals who we said are the bad guys, feel like they could challenge for their constitutional right? That we kind of upside down think that. That are some of the comments that I have seen. Just to say, in reaction. So there's been very little reaction that I have seen, or I have been around, as it relates to pulling the trigger, pulling the switch on the SOE. But when it comes to somebody winning a case and get some dollars because a judge has ruled that they were dealt with unconstitutionally, and we don't feel like somebody where we say that the bad guy should be able to claim any protection under the Constitution. So that's how we feel. And in fact, we're living in a world where this is the new norm that is being implemented. We are now living in a time, we are living in a place where we're going back to, well, where they go on. Power decide whether or not it's right or wrong. They deal with what we believe to be human rights and all of that. Let's move away from that. So we live on a planet right now, 2025, where they completely go back way upon things. And we could say they go along with the current to some extent. Again, the important thing here is that we don't know. I can't speak as to whether the CCJ wants to say upon this or whether the appeals court wants to say upon this. We don't know. There is a difference of opinion right now at the High Court. Very likely the matter is going to be resolved further. But what I cannot support is that we are not engaged on this matter as much as we should, especially in light of what's going on globally, regionally. We are seeing where powerful leaders and powerful states are deciding that they want to reduce the value of your rights, reduce the value and the importance and the relevance of process. So due process depend on the attack because leaders are saying that want inconvenience, and we don't got time for that. And the state of emergency is consistent with the mindset. Again, and I don't know, like, this is a matter where, I'm a believer in the referendum, because the people ultimately for decide the kind of state when they want to live in, the kind of norms when they want to live in. And so it's an extraordinary time. An extraordinary time because due process, in my view, is an essential component for creating any kind of just system. Even understanding that people could abuse the fact that you promote due process. People could take advantage of it. But let us take a look at what you're willing to accept when you say, listen, due process that are inconvenience. See, everything look good when we think about the immediate. But we also have to, when we evaluate anything, we don't just think about the immediate, we have to think, okay, what are the long term of this? And what are some of the consequences of this? Are we fully on with that? And how when it happened to me? So the kingpin of eliminate due process is the president of El Salvador, a man that is extremely popular in his country, and in fact is the world's they call him a lovable dictator. And around the world, he is loved, President Bukele. I have argued on this show that I feel that he has a level of popularity here in Belize as well. And he's so popular that he is the dance partner of the now President of the United States of America, Mr. Trump. And his methods are so popular, Mr. Trump said, "Come here, man, I want to work with you." So that's where we live. That's the time we're living in. And we've seen where the so-called bad human beings that have made their way to the United States of America, they're going through their own process with the Supreme Court. And I think there was very recently a ruling by the Supreme Court for halt the essentially the deportation of the people who are held on immigration situation. That those deportations have been halted by the Supreme Court on the basis that there has to be due process. And the administration in Washington and all the quote-unquote MAGA people are very opposed to that, to the point where they will talk that, well, do we have to follow? Because when they could do if we followed it. But we have a call. Krem, good morning, WUB. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Yes, greetings, Brother Mose.
Greetings.
Greetings in the name of Allah, God, Bungiyu. Bungiyu is the Garif and I forgot. I am a person that as I say, when I was 17 years of age, I always consider myself to be a revolutionary person, because I oppose to a lot of things that is in the so-called, this world is so democratic, so-called democratic, and to me end up in being democratic, because they don't practice the originality of the word demos and krata in Greeks. That means the power is in the people power, not the government. And I also believe that no country should have a rich government with poor population. Now, the Bukele situation, I am a pro-Bukele, but I understand that Belize do not need Bukele, because the Belizean boys that I call gang or bad boy or however people are calling, they don't even reach the ankles of the gang members in Central America. When you know, as I know, the gangs in Central America, boy, I believe they boy, like amateurs comparing to them guys. Because in Belize, you could travel any area where they said a bad area. If you go to any area, any names of the areas where they said it can buy them, I walk all of them, night and day, many times, and I never had a problem with none of them brothers. So I know. But in El Salvador, in Honduras, Guatemala, all the places where I gang, and now the cartel in Mexico City where I used to live also, because that was my second home. I know they're a real bad boy for real, because they challenge the government, they challenge everybody. But what happens is a lot of people that comment against Bukele or comments against things like that are people in a diplomacy. People that never travel like me. I am a poor person. I come from a poor home, poor background, but very honest. When I travel, I live amongst the people. I live amongst the poor class of people because I come from the same origin, poor class. So when you live there, it's not the same. When you live amongst them, it's not the same like when you travel in a private plane or when you go to a special five-star hotel, that's the diplomats. They don't know the needs and the feels of the people as I did because I live amongst them. But I agree you say Bukele is very famous around. It man have very good things that he's doing, but that is not applicable to Belize. Thanks for the time. Respect.
Yeah, I find it, so before you go though,
yeah.
I'm very intrigued, interested. So, Bukele essentially decide that the way to deal with these very organized gangs, and I would agree with you that the level of organization and the level at which the Salvadorian gangs operated was at an extremely high level. When I say high level, it's a very complex criminal organization, and the ways and means through which they utilize violence is not solely the kind of violence that we have experienced with our youths in the streets. So I concede that. But there is a consistency, right? The fact that there is such a bromance, that's the word that they use, between Mr. Trump and Mr. Bukele, is that they have a similar worldview. And so they've become, brothers in love, yeah, and have become strategic partners.
Yeah.
Doesn't that give you pause? Because when we look at what is Mr. Trump's approach, so he is, and even, there's a rising level of dissenting views within the United States of America. Yes, people generally have been supportive of a need to do something about quote-unquote illegal migrants, but when they find out that a great number of people who their only violation is to be in the United States illegally, are being shipped to El Salvador and are being placed in the prisons. I don't know if anybody have seen these prisons and to see how they've been constructed and the conditions under which they have for their criminal elements in Salvador. But people we have family members, a lot of Belizeans have family members who are, their only wrongdoings is said in other states without gotten papers. It happened to one out of 3 people. Maybe it has happened to a couple of them, we wouldn't know, because they are not even having the due process to tell your family members, you know what, your family member is being sent to Salvador. So they don't even know where their people are being sent. Of course, with Mr. Trump, he always carried down one next level, where now he is thinking about sending them to Libya. So, but this is all, there is such there is such a connection in this mindset and this worldview. This is how they see things should be. We have to let us, if we cannot be controlled by due process, we can't deal with that. So I'm trying to figure if you are comfortable with that aspect of President Bukele's worldview and his operation.
Yeah. I am pro Bukele in regards to reestablishing the peace and order in El Salvador, that for 3 decades people suffer, innocent people, hard-working people, young and old, they didn't have no peace by these gangs, Mara Salvatrucha and 18, 18, se call in Spanish, Mara 18. So that's the part I'm with him. But when it comes to here and the red-head man or orange-head man over there, crazy man that dropped on the head when he was born, I know they with that. That I zero. I negative, no agree with that, because I have said it openly on more than one radio station program. If him believe, as here orange-head man, if him believe that people does not have the right for a nationality by being birthed in the U.S. from foreign parents, then he himself he doesn't have the right, because he also born from a foreign mother, right? So he can't tell me that people, by simple being illegal, they cannot be in the U.S. and they have to deport or send them to another country, prison. That all of that is wrong. I'm negative with that. I know they with that. That I know they with. And the next thing, I listen to Spanish stations that in Mexico you have more than one program every day, and they interview people, and they are saying that they work for that man already. They're working at the farm, they're working at the golf place, they work in many different places, and all Mexican origin, Guatemala, and other countries in Central America, all of them were illegal people working for him. So now they are trying to understand what's wrong with this man. If most of his workers and employees working, they are illegal people. But to wrap it up, when it comes to the agreement between Bukele and him, I zero with that, because nothing matches what I believe about Bukele. Unfortunately, I will wrap it. Malcolm X, Brother Malcolm X, Al-Haj Malik, he says, in this world, we could curse any kind of ism, but the only ism we cannot curse is dollarism. So I believe money involved, and that's unfortunately what many humans weak for. Thanks for the time.
All right, brother man, give thanks. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's 15 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning, 19th of May, 2025. Mose Hyde in the house. The telephone number is 280-5848. And actually, it's my 4th morning back, and the first time I've said President Trump. I'm proud of myself. It took 4 mornings for me to bring up that dude's name, and it was inadvertent, because primarily what I'm focusing on this morning, this conversation, is about the fact that we ended up with a verdict on the constitutionality of the SOE, at least one of them, the very first one I believe, in 2020. And the fact that it's being challenged. I have a call. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Brother Mose.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Why would this thing so good with Bukele turn it into an industry now? When you got prison in any part of the world, yeah, take that in.
Are you
Bukele, he turned this thing into an industry.
so you're a Bukele supporter as well, my brother?
Definitely not. Definitely not. This brother, I do a crime in the United States. Just maybe enter illegally.
my side. And nobody stepped in.
Yeah.
I
So,
know all the country like everybody there with this. Everybody agree with it.
so we say we believe in the power of the people, and I don't feel like when I say it's wrong, I know you must have some people who disagree with it, but the man has become extremely well loved. Again, from all reports, like I don't feel that these reports are false. It would appear that if again, he won re-election, which he changed the constitution to be able to do, but generally speaking, the people of Salvador support Bukele's position, and again, we are believers in the power of the people. Now, the conversation here, I feel, I don't know where you feel, but because you have said multiple times, you're a man with up on the ground, and I think because of how you work, you know where people they say. I know they are upon the ground as much as you, but I talk to a lot of people. I would have said if we had a poll going on, I would have said, would I be surprised by the number of Belizeans where they're into that, we're into Bukele, we're into how he approach it. Hello, something wrong with
Like when they go on phone,
I don't know where they go on. I hear the clicking in at the phone. But anyway,
I listen to you, brother.
I ask you.
I know I put up cards.
Got you.
What in a Salvador, where the people are one and the people are business, that are in country,
Yeah.
and the people are one. But when you infringe for other people rights, for other nation, that's where the problem comes in. They infringe for people rights.
I don't know why the phone they click on. I don't know what's going on.
They in the house, and they hear you sometimes your voice to go. I don't know if I hear phone or a mic.
I hear one clicking, man, or clicking in at the phone. I hear one clicking in at the phone. I know.
I'm not sure about the brother, because I usually call with that thing, you know.
All right.
What Bukele doing in a country where the people are one up in their business.
So what do you think about this? What do you think about it? What do you think about? I know. Let me ask you. I don't know if you're getting news that there was a ruling apparently last week, and we had a number of young brothers who were rewarded compensation because of they challenged the legality of the state of emergency. What are your thoughts in regards to that?
Well,
yeah, brother, you're really the breakup. I don't know what's going on there. I don't think it's my phone. I just don't think so. If it happens with somebody else's line, then I want to know that we have the problem. Yeah, so this is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Telephone number 280-5848. Cliff is saying it's not our line. Hello.
yeah, I'm not sure what they cause the problem, brother Mose. I don't know what happened.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead anyhow. It's the click.
Come on, I deal with the ruling. I don't got no problem with the ruling.
Okay.
I said it for time. It's against some human rights. You don't pick up people. You know, I deal with the ruling. That's definite.
Yeah. You didn't hear me. Yeah, I don't know what it go on. I think it's with your phone because I didn't have a problem with the previous caller.
The previous caller, I mean, listen to her, I never got problem. So I guess that's for mine.
Yeah,
But
something.
I deal with the ruling, my brother.
Yeah.
I set our president to everything.
Well, set on precedent because apparently another judge ruled on the same matter in a complete opposite way. So, obviously the matter is to be determined. We don't know. You have to go to the appeals court and then ultimately, very likely, go to CCJ. Then we know, what the judiciary positioning on it. No, I just, even though I prefer one outcome, obviously. I'm very pleased with the fact that the matter is being looked at by the judiciary. I'm very pleased that some attorneys take it up and make us see where you go from there. Respect for the car, but I really want to get another car to see if maybe I really have this problem. I doubt it. So maybe if somebody out there wouldn't mind giving a leave phone check and make us see how it work. Telephone number 280-5848. That's the direct line for you to participate in the conversation. And again, it's the question really comes down to, you know, whether or not we hold on to, and again, this is not to say that we are like this is something that we do well when we talk about due process, but at least you talk to you ask people, you like due process or you don't like due process. People generally, I find, are supporters of due process, whether or not we are doing a good job of it here or not. Krem, good morning, WUB. Krem, good morning.
Yes. Just 60-second ceremony of your time, Brother Mose. It's me back again.
Yes, sir.
I went to El Salvador and I forgot to mention home. What a shame. The opinion and the court ruling, one ruling in favor of the SOE people that was picked up, I there with the one in favor of them, that they need to be compensated if their rights are violated. Because whenever the law considers that you violate any right, they don't hesitate to charge you, they don't hesitate to carry you in. Or anything they have to do to you, they don't hesitate to do it. So the same way, if they violate your rights, take care of you, pay you, because they are doing wrong. Okay, brother, respect.
All right. Gotcha. Well, I think my brother, before this, I think something not working as it usually does with your connection. I don't know if it's the phone or you just, you know, it has to be something with your phone because that caller didn't have that problem. It's 25 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Mose Hyde hosting today. We're going to jump into 2 Cents Calm, sponsored by 4 Point Security, and then we come back after the break. After the break, we're going to be joined by our friend of the show and a special contributor that we are arranged with from down south. Brother Ewart Garbutt is going to be joining the show. It's always a very intriguing and informative, dynamic conversation once the brother jumps in. So looking forward to that. But we go to 2 Cents Calm. We take our first break. We come back. This is WUB Monday morning edition.
You're watching WB and this is XTV. And right now, 2 cent question of the day. I want to know if they taxi man to worry because guess what? He taxi there. But the good thing about it is that the both service are different. Make we find out the people in 2 cents, the taxi man in 2 cents, and see how they feel about it. Big respect to our sponsors, 4 Point Security. The council to implement the e-taxi versus the original taxi man.
Well, me can't stop them from bringing out their taxi now, but just have the problem with the year, the feedback where they get from certain person that the taxi they want to charge $5 a run. And if they want to charge $5 a run, that won't affect for your business.
But I can't come out about that, but that will feel good for me as a customer.
Yeah, I'm afraid of good for you as a customer because you want boycott the price, you understand?
No, as a customer at the time I didn't think about boycott, I didn't think about which one point A to point B for $5.
Yeah, because yeah, that's right.
I'm not.
You're not a taxi driver. No. But you deal with a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Taxi friend are friends.
They all are my buddies.
Is it going to affect you?
How you going?
You are benefit after if you know that the electric e-taxi will give you a better service than original taxi man.
Well, they're going to give a better service. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they could run on air conditioning all day long, don't got to worry about gas. That's number one. Number two, maintenance. It's going to be better because the government going to taking care of them.
Yeah.
And plus, that guy, the taxi driver, going to be getting paid, even though he might not make no money, he going to still get paid.
That's your 2 cents.
You know? And these guys got to sweat to make money because they got to be out on the grind 24/7 to make ends meet.
All right.
All right?
Yeah, your 2 cents. They bring the electric taxi in,
Yeah, mess up. What's that when they bust it up?
and then they charge cheaper.
Cheaper. You know.
So we don't do now.
Now checking the president if you get together and they talk.
That's your 2 cents.
Yeah, very good, brother. All right.
50 odd years already. No, that no bother me. I nearly time to retire out of this.
Okay. So it not affect you. That's your 2 cents.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Monday morning, 19th of May, 2025. And trouble there. Trouble there because, you know, once I see you bring Brother Norman with you, I know that trouble there. But E-word Garbutt is here, Brother Norman Castillo, both from the Belize Flat Fishery Association. They're in the house this morning. Morning and welcome to you, brothers.
Morning. Good morning and thanks again for the invite as always. Anytime you call, we ready to come.
You celebrated Silky and the works done there recently, so let's start there. Tell us, I mean, we start on the positive side first, briefly. Then we'll move into areas of concern.
Definitely, and even areas are concerned real positive because in the sense of how you deal with whatever issue. So I must say, thanks to follow the Silky story and the appreciation to everybody who have been a part. We wish that everybody who have put their hand there could have showed up. You know, it's a 3-year anniversary to show the work, the reclamation that we have done as a community-led effort. Where all hand on deck, no machinery, but human machinery. And it was, the show was amazing, 22 miles east of Placencia. And we landed with 340 plus people.
That was like what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. 2 weeks, the 3rd of May. It was May 3rd.
All right.
May 3rd, and to me what?
So this photo you're able to show right now upon XTV, that the
day of the celebration right there.
The
celebration
and
day.
all around there represents where you have placed the bags and you have kind of hold on and be cleaned.
Yeah, what is amazing now, a lot of people out there and they said remember good about the bags, the cocos bag or the sack, the raven bag, and you probably could pay a couple hundred for find one now. Because what is there now is nature as the best. We have over 80 mangrove, red mangrove, we're already there up 1 foot tall. And just the way that we have worked with nature and she have worked with us. The island originally, when we start that project 3 years ago, widest point was just a fraction over 21 foot wide. And now the widest point is almost 100 by 300. So I told you we had over 300 happy people there.
So that happened in 3 years?
In 3 years, like we have built it 3 years ago, but my point is from there it actually increased. I'll say with us not directly because we take care of the maintenance of the island. Like anything else, we have beautiful coastal road, we have a lot of things, but without maintenance, the reflectors gone, the whatever. Well, the people power would continue this. Next generation will make sure, and like Sergeant Key, that this not just still there but underwater upon map. This will always be there for the better good of Belizean every day. And that island there never closed because of private event, except with one exception, the 3rd of May. For we day. They're not 3rd because closed because this one have a wedding or the next one. That's for us as Belizean. And I must say, Mose, what really was the highlight for me, seeing all the people, some of the faces from way up in a car, when we did it, they push the load. And we gone for really set the barrier for make one Guinness break, the Guinness Book of Record in 6 hours to have the most fun. I must say to everybody who out there, we did it. We did it. We didn't have one, we had over 90 kids first-hand experience. Some of them, I think it was 70, never snorkeled before. Because we keep all of that in record. And we never hear once, you hear a parent, hey, you can't walk the way the coral there, hey, you can't do this. It was amazing to see the energy and the unity that was there. Nobody never hungry. Nobody never broke any rules. All we did was celebrate the victory and coming together. So I must say thanks to everybody who have been a part. All the dive shop that helped, everybody who come in and put in their part. The people who come in and just show up. It was the guides. We had 9 professionals, the best guides, taking these kids first-hand experience to see what, because it's hard to fight for something we don't know was. So it was, instead of keep Belize as the best kept secret, for we believe that we expose it to the people who need it, the next generation. So that what that was all about. So
I could recall when people used to say, the bag now work, the bag now work. There's the result. That's the result.
Bag now work.
Bag the work no.
And the bag is really a skeleton, guys. We're really and truly that made a portrait. It was I always say it's almost like a miracle. It's bigger than just a dream. Because when you wake up, it's still there. If a lot of things didn't go right, I would have probably go down as one of the worst ever to the environment, you know. But now we together collectively have a good example for the people now who could study, because we're first study. They could study that now.
All right. And that's the good side. Congratulations, big respect. Nothing like results. There's nothing as results. No, Sunfly Key, not so good right now.
No, not so good, but what I'm going to go into, just because before I go there I might forget, I also want to applaud, because I always come in here and give it the privilege to make me ask for something. We just hold Sunfly 1 second just for this context. I must reach out to the government for say kudos and thanks for the help we have gotten on the Placentia Peninsula, along with the chairman and with area rep and whoever else involved. Remember last time I come and I tell you with the peninsula was 17 miles long, only got over 5,000 people, one doctor. Well, I must say, Miss Amber, Dr. Amber Williams, who welcome you to the peninsula. Kudos, young doctor, and very vibrant. So now because you live in a tourist destination, you are dead off at just oxygen. We got one and Dr. Kenton Hernandez. Kudos of thank what you made the work endlessly by yourself. So if you get the extra help, we can't come and just ask and lobby for something, and when we get it, we don't praise it. Thanks to that. Also, one more, we must applaud that the ambulance, we even got an ambulance. Well, it was there, but we got a driver who take care of that. So that a big kudos, and
so
it's very
Finally
expensive.
got an ambulance.
Yes, so we have one. So I honestly have to say, man, big respect to that, because Placencia, the people, tourism is sweet and everything, but the people is always before everything. Without people, you got nothing. So just want to say big up and appreciation for that, no?
Respect. Can we move to Sunfly Key? The last time when you were here, we figured, was like, when you mentioned Sunfly Key, because that's the first you raised the issue, I was like, Sunfly Key, like I never heard about that one before. So you tell me Sunfly, nice, but the concern is not so much Sunfly Key as it relates to the flats that are nearby the Sunfly Key. Explain the situation.
Couple things different just for the viewers who don't know. Sunfly Key is just north of the Silk Key, the Saltwater Key Marine Reserve.
I take this call before we continue about WUB, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Man, it is said, according to my understanding in life at 73, man, you never give up, because at some time you will prevail. Congratulations, my friends, on that consistency. You say, when you reach and achieve goal, or when the goal on the want to achieve, no give up, continue to maintain the place, not turn your back on it. People love that island, and people love to note what you all have done for the state of Belize. Congratulations, my friends.
Thank you very much, Brother Torres.
Thanks so much, for sure. We always hear your positive voice all the time, Mr. Torres. Thanks a million.
So, continue on where you were.
It's just, Sunfly Key is just a little, I'll say 7 miles east of Dangriga. So it's just outside the Saltwater Key Marine Reserve World Heritage Site. All of that said, it ain't Belize. I'm going to talk ecosystem, right? And it really threaten livelihood, it threaten our industry. And the point is, we're different between this and Wilbawa, that it's not in the reserve. It's actually island, you actually got land. But if you notice clearly, they cut down the mangrove without we may even understand how deep it was, because I suddenly share the thing, we don't travel in a helicopter, we travel in a boat, so we don't say whether behind the mangrove. Now if you look at this photo, it shows that, and I must say to the guy who got the contract to do it, it's not targeting that individual and his company. They got all the right documents. They have crossed their T, dot their I. Does it make it right? Does it make it right to destroy the flat? There, if you notice the darker area, not where the pump is in the deep. Okay. But if you go to the left facing the screen, that darker area, that's where I go to work.
Okay.
That's a secret place for me. That's where I go to work. That's where the permit, the crustacean, everything, you know what I mean? So, but fortunately I have to go and say that this guy have done it the right way. So our conversation.
But which mangrove did they move?
Oh, after say that, he said he didn't get the contract to cut the mangrove. You see the piece, you see the whole sand middle of the island? That whole island was green. And years that, maybe I'll say a year ago, we weren't even aware where you see that whole area look like a lake from afar, or like it's just, it's land mixed with, it's marsh.
So they put stuff in that?
They're fully now dredging the stuff from the deep to get it up to the shallow.
Okay.
You know, and even if it was in the deeper water, I want to clarify that as well. That's where the crustaceans thrive. So we're damaging ecosystem either which ways. If it up on the flat, it's 1,000,000 times worse. But in the deep, we still have to, you know.
So people
you could see the clearance.
Yeah.
Cut out, completely cut out.
That was Alman Grove.
Yeah, Alman Grove.
All right. So Trust and Fly Key is privately owned?
It is privately owned. And I must say that I think I hold the mic too much here, I want to make, and more than that, for we brought up from commercial fishing factor. When you talk about flat, you know, just to talk about Caucasian or whoever come and, you know, enjoy that. Without the flats, you don't have commercial fishing. You want to take it over from the brother strings?
It clearly show on the map there, on the picture there, clearly show that I wish I may have a picture prior to this, so I could show the public in a whole how that island was set up. It is private island indeed, but with all these dredging around that island there, you can't go catch no fish no more. Because all the rocks around it will be, you know, full of silts and all this stuff. Right? So, you know, anyway you dredge, you got to be very, very careful. Private or not private, but you affect the fishing industry in a whole.
And one of the things when we talk about the situation is that only people who know sea know that all flats are not created equal. That you got some flat where not they go on there, and then you got some flat with that where I said our church. So as fishermen you know this, but then it appeared that the technicians and the technocrats, when they look on the map of shore, everything look the same to them. They think the same about mango, or that just that they fly there. You know, we don't have to love that. And then he show the area. We could take this show area like aggregates, right? The show area this could be full up because that, you know, and we are beautifying. No, you turn something. They in the water and not going to turn it into a beach. Yeah, no, we do something marvelous. But that's our flawed mindset. We contradict with your reality and your reality. Isn't that the problem?
100%, and we say it direct. Imagine you change ecosystem with concrete. I don't know no country where we're proud of that yet. You get what I say? You change ecosystem to concrete. Only thing that is concrete there is property. You know what I mean? We would have burned up for we ATM. So my point though, I really want to reiterate, Pan, today is an amazing day. And I must say that. Hence the reason we're here as well. And we were still clapping like, thank God we'll bow with the government. Big up there. We still a clap now. While with a clap, mother, when I get this call about and fly here, I said, no man, I remember watching the US against, I think I'm in Portland. I just celebrate this goal that we score. And I look back nearly last one for when I sit down then I celebrate twice. I want to celebrate for we goal for. One goal don't score against we so quick. So my point now that as much as the government should, we were so much, we big them up, we even have a plan for say like, this is the example, this that. Lord have mercy man, right up the water. Sandfly go right the front of our face. But the point is I think a lot of talking and a lot of things, it help to make we put light on this, but it costs us to be here.
Yes, sir.
So what we want to do is reach out to partner. Today we'll have a very important press release at press conference.
We talk about the press conference after.
Okay, good then, good.
I just want to
we got enough time.
You know I know got your pan no shot at least.
Perfect, good. I just want to
I know how far you're from, man.
Good. We always appreciate it.
I don't feel any one segment thing.
We love that. We love that.
We know people need for free up a little bit. So, just on the Sandfly Key thing, which we then, when we come back from the break, we'll expand to the greater concern and the press conference where I feature other collaborators and other activists where they experience environmental degradation and loss. So we're going to talk about that. But right now, just so people can understand that you become a household name out of the wheelbarrow still key activism and saving your launch into the public consciousness, and then the wheelbarrow become now one thing where you really had to go to fight to the extent that you face charges. I don't know how you stand with that, if that's still pending by you. How is that? You don't know it?
I'm afraid if I'm mad watch it, I never watch like. She not even me know I got a court, but you can't know that. Because you got to say I'm a free man.
Okay.
But the best thing about that was I love to travel. And boy, when they take away your freedom, when you have to drive go to damn rigor, but check see you say the magistrate like, "Mommy, I go please travel." Then you have to give that e-paper. That was how it was. So to be free, but I'll give all of that. All of that mean nothing. And e-work name, no household, no nothing. What mean? That feel left one like they say for the next generation.
Get it.
So,
I never been to try to build up your celebrity.
No.
I want to try to build and try to set the stage that
covered.
We become familiar with the situation with about and make people understand, because like I hope that when we have these conversations, I think the greatest two things we try to accomplish. One, we try to put pressure upon the policymakers and the political directorate and those who are leading to do the right thing, one. Two, even if that not happen, we hope to make people who don't understand or know the situation, understand it, so then they become one part of your support network to push towards what is right. Because to me, if we believe that power to the people can exercise their power in our accurate and in our right manner if they not really got the full understanding. Then if you got the full understanding. So for make them know we will do a certain work, for make them really get to understand the real nitty-gritty of wheelbarrow. I don't want to do with the time remaining a little bit to make them understand the whole. Because let's say we say wheelbarrow flats, we get it. But now man come, you and we establish this holy grounds. That you are the gumption there, you can't disturb this. You are now saying that what they are disturbing at Sandfly Key, that is equivalent of the same flat room that I will buy, that then 6.5 or dozen of the thing, just as precious.
If you can't say it better, Mose, and you see what happened is the same thing what these investors is seeking for, is the same thing where Mother Nature need to nurture itself. If you notice just the geographic location, I wouldn't show the picture. It's the north side where all the current come in. You talk to Bruce Lester, you talk to Mr. Lincoln, all of the guys there. It's one of we prime permit location, Lord. And then the man has said, boy, again, they say this. But I just don't get it. We have to put it that these flats need to be protected. Right. But this one, again, I tell you straight to the heart, that direct one other will be our brother or sister. I said, you know what I mean? So you can't have, you look at even the harbor, the nursery, the everything you go there and you walk there, among that crustacean that is on that
Can
area.
you, Brother Norman, tell me what that, because somebody could say, permit, I never gone to a restaurant and eat that yet. I don't see that in my biolook. I don't say that, I can't buy that for Good Friday. But please make me understand who don't know, what are the value of permit? When you say a permit in the water.
Permit, I mean, majority of the tour guides, tour operators, will tell you, no touch an animal, my brother. Because that gets sweet, that fight.
What that mean in a real life? When you see a permit, what you say?
Money. You just say money. Serious money too.
240 million we put to this economy.
And the people, in a way, I keep on saying it, and I will not stop saying it, that we protect the flats of this country. The flats of the really fishermen left anything alone. Because you are get away. We are war for free flat. I keep on saying that. I know said yesterday to them for every day they said that don't touch the flats. Leave it alone. It's for the fishermen.
Respect to that. Obviously, you know, get up this morning for come all the way that tongue spend money for reach here. And I don't like you're going to find they're not like you're going to come meet one potential tourist. You have to fight for yours. That's what they have to do.
Correct. You have to find the tourists, and just like the tourists have to find the permits.
So even if somebody say, okay, I own Sandfly Key, and you're the bill Sandfly Key, and you're the thing about, okay, you want to enjoy it, and maybe you're the thing about business, you're the thing about maybe having guests, whatever you're the thing about. you essentially shoot yourself in your own foot if you destroy where one person fly all the way from when they fly for African enjoy in one day.
I go extend pan that carry the young man and not even know this young man again when the drone shot happened. And they said, Mr. Ewart, how any sensible businessman want to destroy this very thing where depend upon?
Yeah.
Because when I explain to the man, I say what happened, they say just want, and no sensible businessman. But the point, Moses, meeting the right people, lobbying with the right people. That's where, remember I said something on opening. The guy who got the contract get all the right papers. Does that make it right? My point was when it comes, let's go to what the money mean, because anything I say money, I know like my brother Strings heavy into commercial fishing and he represent the commercial sector. But here what we're not pulling, though sport fishing is bringing in majority money, what is more important, I think for our country, to who and to what detriment? The sport fishing industry, the fly fishing, is not disturbing nature at all. It enhance it. It make one of the biggest grip where entrepreneur have for whole land, Belizean. That's the core. That's the core. We still the whole, we say whole land because we still threaten here and there. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to career job, when it comes to sustainable job and a way of life, fly fishing, sport fishing, flat fishing is still the example and the thing where a lot of people want to be. So it's crucial when we see a flat and we talk about flat, and it's good when you travel around, people know more understand it, that it bother, that everybody, even if you're never gonna see, you need this to make Belize. You hear about GDP, I want to talk about that to the Prime Minister. That the real biggest investment where Belize could ever invest in. You know, look for the mistake we make more, they look as if we're running out investors. But I just want to reiterate to the Prime Minister and to the world, we are run out of ecosystem way before we run out of investor. The richer the ecosystem, they come here to make money. Right? They're not coming here love Belize. I've seen this happen. I know they say they don't love it, but they're coming here to make money. That's for we ATM, we got to take care of it.
Okay, we're going to take a break and come back and then talk a little bit more about, or zoom out a little bit and talk about the press conference that's scheduled for this morning at 9:30. This is Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on Monday, May 19th.
20 years ago, we built a company
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We are having a conversation with our brothers from the Belize Flat Fishers Association. They came all the way from down south, Brother Ewart Garbett and Brother Norman Castillo. We spoke a bit about the upside, what's going well. We spoke about a specific situation that is of serious level concern. Part of that and part of everything else has led to a press conference this morning at 9:30. Imagine you don't want to preempt all that's going to happen at that press conference, but you do have a meeting of people who are experiencing similar distress, especially across the coast. Tell me about that.
Definitely, we're getting to the point where I like to use the term that we're living in the last days to save what is left. This beautiful Joel, and we got that there's this gathering of people from all the way south from PG and all the way north to Sartene, and we have different members. I'll call name like Mr. Billy Leslie, who is the president of the Tour Guide Association in San Pedro and pioneer also in the tourism industry, and he's there firsthand that we all know the detriment, the threat, not more than threat, but what is happening to one of the best things we ever could have, the mangrove by itself. We're cutting them left and right everywhere, dredge everywhere, and sustainable development everywhere, and not meaningful job that turn into career. But the press release is to really the press conference is really to reach out, partnership, network. We have came here not on the government salary. We have take out from our salary and our family, and we're here to help this beautiful Joel to carry the weight and to use sustainability not as a word but a way of life. So I want DOE to have some of the most beautiful terms when they say about you put environment first and then development win. Well, on the ground we're not seeing it, guys. We're not seeing it. So we're asking all the non-government organization as well, that the environmentalists them. So we're not seeing them. They're not visible. They're not out there. You know what I mean? It's not our duty to come out here and always be fighting these. So we need the holistic view, the bigger picture. And we have always been proactive, although we look like we're reacting. We're always being proactive, but we want to put it from north to south and let the government know that we don't know everything, but we know enough to know the only way we get out of this is in unity. And we need to, they have a lot of beautiful words, you always hear about, they have these nice consultation, they have even, when strategic planning, if you don't meet with the people because they're up there making the decision, right? And at the highest level, they might think we're at the lowest. We might be the lowest because we're up on the ground, maybe physically. When they say the lowest, those are the people that we need to talk, they need to talk to. So long story short is please come out, 9:30 at Spooners, and we really have one dynamic team. We even have to have the big up Oceana. Janelle will be there with us as well. We got, I bet I'll have flown some, you have to show up to see.
You have representation from, I would imagine, from out of San Pedro, Kikaka.
Definitely.
Yes. Down south, obviously, but Norman is here representing Hopkins.
Yeah.
Anybody from PG and anything?
What happened is PG no, but we have, I connect to both places. Okay. Because we only we had a number. Everybody would have wanted to be there.
Okay.
But for the quorums.
No, one of the big teams, one of the big topics will be mangrove and how it's being taken down. And how huge a problem is it?
It's the worst thing when you use the same pen as a government to say that you're collecting certain deal for money to protect certain thing, and with the same pen you write sandfly key and you say, yeah, cut that down. How the same pen could poison the same very food you say they cook for we? So I think it's just the advice to let them know that what is more important, development, sustainable, or just development for a whole.
Sabo, that caller, I see I lost you. You can please call back. We were trying to get you on. The telephone number is 280-5848. We understand, but you're saying here that we have regulations about mangrove. We got laws with punishment.
I
didn't say. Mose, we apply for a permit to clear our mouth or lagoon in Hopkins. We, the Fishermen Association, apply for a permit. You know how long for it? Just approved a couple of days ago, and I want to say thanks to them, because today I bless them. Forestry, so it takes so long for giving one new permit just to clear our area. So lab to come out to clear the waterway out.
Yeah.
So farmers who go to the river, they start back the fishing along the river bank. Problem. We just get last 2 years, 3 years ago get a permit. So kudos for giving that permit now. So we get a grant. We get a grant of $60,000 for clear the area. Approved by Canadian company.
Look at this guy. WUB, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning, Mr. Garbutt.
Good morning, sir.
I do a lot of fishing down there with my family from the Tobacco Key, from the Wagner family, Tobacco Key. And we had some erosion on the island for a minute. We had to backfill it up with thousands of conch shells. Is this what's going on every island out there? Down south and north, are we facing erosion on the islands as we are on the land? Because I'm seeing a lot of erosion on our island in Tobacco Key.
I will say yes, sir. Everywhere, and it's farther than us. I've been to out of the country, and it's the same thing as far as Seychelles. I've been fortunate to go on there. When you look, I see an island look just like Silky, and it got the same way, my brother. So I think the thing about it is, I'll be the first to say I'm no expert at doing any of those things, but I know that I'm willing to do whatever it takes, so especially us could still able to live and throw one line off at the beach where we live. Hence the reason Monkey River have to big up those people down there, that we always will be there at the front when it comes to saving community, saving the well-being and the heritage of Belize. But to answer, there is a crisis from Sarstoon from Rio Hondo to Sarstoon. There's a crisis, and outside of that as well. So there's no way getting bigger, and the king tide not come yet. We might have some beach building, but we're losing more than we're gaining.
You know what, sir? I didn't have a lot on my family's boat. I might go from Tanya Range all the way to Earsman, where the postcards are at. And like I said, most of the work that we have to do backfill is our own. We can't rely on the government, or it'll be too late, and there will be no more islands. They'll disappear. So we have to take matters in our own hand. Like I said, we put thousands of conch shells around Tobacco Key to keep that place in its perspective way. You know what I'm saying? So they need to spend more time out there in those islands, or else those islands are going to disappear from the radius that they are, because they're getting smaller. You know what I'm saying? People not really realizing it, but these islands are shrinking out there too.
I there with you 100%. And I won't go out on a branch here, maybe yes, but whatever you could do to secure what is there, because somehow I've been in many seminars, and we're hoping for some silver or magic bullet to drop out of Mars to fix these, and someone that have never walked on that island would come there and tell you how you should fix that island, and they would be the one to save it. I will beg to differ. It will take the everyday people to fix what we need, but we need a government that is willing to lead, even when we don't have the expertise, because that's what I'm telling you, Lakim. I could go to the Silky project. The guy who should have lead that initiative, the engineer, I could have said, Mr. Gabat, sorry, but go ahead and do it, because I really don't have the least idea. So it's but all hand on deck, we need to come together.
It's sad to see what's going on, even by my homeboys' property, by Williams, by Jesse. All over there is just eroded by my Gabby Castillo. Everything is eroded by that beach over there by Jesse Pier. It looks so ridiculous. The beach is right by the doorsteps of the Williams house, my brother.
That's in Danbriga, you're talking?
Danbriga. There's a lot going on.
By the Williams beach. It looks so disgusting over there, man. I see the house porch right by the beach.
I would like
to have like 10 to 15. Sorry?
I would like you to get my number, but for the sake of time now, and I think I'm, like I said, no expert here, but I like to chat and like to see, I think what this does, climate crisis, is letting us have this conversation, and government, private, all of us coming together. Nobody know more than each other, but 610 1018. Please give me a buzz now. I earn it 610 1018.
Yeah. I'll give my number to Moses and everything, because I'm always up there, because my boys be out there drenching. They Castillos, they own all the drenching stuff to drench the keys, you know. And, I mean, I don't know, everything is politics when it comes to Belize. They won't work with you because of sometimes your power or the government, PUP or whatever it is down there. They got too much politics that they use in order not to fix stuff because you're not that party or that member of that party, so they won't fix your territory. You know, but anyway, like I said, there's a big problem down there when it comes to erosion down there and everything. My boys have the dredging stuff down there. They got skills to fix anything in those islands and everything. They have to work together as one and stop worrying about the government, because or else those islands will disappear. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave my number for Mose Hyde. Respect.
All right then. WUB, we're talking about the mango situation, but we are on next call. WB, good morning. WB, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mose.
Yes.
Mose, I'm glad I got a break to get it.
Could you lower your radio? Could you lower your radio or your TV, my brother?
Right now, Mose. Right now.
I hope you've been listening to the show and you know they come in with a totally different matter right now. You like to that?
No. Today I actually sitting down to watch the show. I see everybody that is laugh and that's one of the things I could never do what these guys do because I'm too emotional. You know, I have never went to fight for Star Food Island because I don't want to go there one day and China man tell me you can't come from the island. When I fight for, maybe get shot for, and then when I find out a white man or Chinese, don't want that last time. So, I'm proud of these guys because these guys literally love what they do. If they never love this, can they get no money? If this wasn't a passion, maybe I don't give this up long time. No, I will ask them a question. If they ever talk about something, when you go to Corozal for Hyde Grove, I wondered why they had one seawall. Why in Belize City we have a seawall? Because in the Corozal we don't have sand. We have limestone. But we have sometimes for big caves, caverns and the Beringoga, so place sink hole where the water run underneath, but there no sand. So I wonder if we got hard stone in the frontier, why is it that we have to put a seawall? But certain places might just need a seawall. And then you fall behind it. Now the problem with the seawall was to the year, we'll create one crooked window, because your man want to put a seawall 2 miles out so, and then when you visit a seafront, you have got 10 more neighbors front that you already know. You see what I say? But I just wonder. I mean, I thought about why don't we go and set up a system where, okay, everybody will come fishing. Everybody will fishing for comes dump at this side. I will have one barge or something out there where we dump that. I would use the conch shell, but that take too long. And then one conch shell not that heavy. When eventually when the wave come, hurricane, it might move that. But then too, we do have such huge rocks. We could cut the rock that there's certain place that gives somebody the right to cut there, and we set them out to a certain distance because, for example, I think that you could set that out to 100 feet out of Placencia there, and then now, when you set it to 100, nobody will call it further. That will have to be roads and beach. And then you have to come off our stone. We are going to be sand because she will still bring sand to that eventually. You know, but you will have that barrier. But I don't know, like what my boy said, I don't know, I said, all I got to say is that for my group, the Corozal, it has had a seawall. And I believe in global warming because when I'm in the group, they had the seawater the other day, they had to raise it 3 feet. They had a pair that was out the water about 22 inches when I'm small. And now the pair is underwater. And I want to tell you, I don't believe that horizontal is sick. That not horizontal is sick. The water raise. And so that is eventually, you know, some people might say, well, global warming is not real, but I could tell you, I feel so whether when I'm small, I don't know if the kind of a picture, I never got time to think, boy, really hot. But last year, this year, yeah. So whether they wonder, whether with this is not the normal, you understand what I say? So my 2 cents for the thing was, I'm not an expert, but my 2 cents is more that I want to pick up them ballet. And maybe the man they could have given me a little link, maybe one day they need a little donation of 10 bag of water, I could do that part today. But other than that, I don't went out there because I get too emotional when it comes to that thing. I get violent right away, they will lock me up, and the thing going bad. So I'm not telling you that code breaks because I don't want to get emotional. If I go out there, I am willing to die for this cause, and that's it. So I can't go in there and think because I want to lose it. I want to make all look bad if I don't go. Because I want to get rid of violence and then the whole thing
we don't want to look bad. We don't want to bad.
But I could donate to a bag of water and I could say kudos to the guys, man, because I really, really and truly know that my boy for placenta there and my boy for happenings right there. If they never love that, they may have to do something else, man. Definitely.
Respect. You want to respond to Brother Collymore?
Big respect and really appreciate it. We always go and applaud the well-wishers, the people who wish we well and pray for women without sending that smoke up, so I don't think it happen. So definitely when I reach out to you, but the whole thing here is about longevity and continuity. The only thing you could do is be the example where the next generation pick it up, so we really involve the youths there. But thank for look out, and I think just having the conversation about climate crisis as a holistic and bigger view, I don't know more than you and you don't know, so it just needs to vibes up. So thanks, and really appreciate it.
I like that council move there. The reason I say that because we from an island, a lone council. If you pass right the Cotton Ridge, people say, oh, the island full of lone council. Council around that, and there's no kind of thing in the road there. Council all around. The house in the middle. So lone council.
I tried, there's even something I don't want to lament, I never want to stretch, but the point is, think about what we have. Conch Shell is actually a detriment right now. We have the guys from Sardinia diving the same nice beds where all the conch feed live, and they use that for burying ground. They dash the same conch shell over. I've lobbied before with owner of island, and I told this guy, could I help you move this? All we need for the buy a boat or have whereby we tell the guys, and this is your area where you dump all your shell. We can pick it up, sir, and your island will never disappear. But it's a conversation that it's bigger than the show, and nobody, again, when you talk now, say, oh, he like wall, the next one. The all I will love, and I sure we love, that how we could always live near the sea, enjoy the amenities, and love Belize together.
So it's, you know, it's interesting that we understand climate change. And one of the best things we have that when you understand that one of the inexpensive ways to deal with climate change to start to invest in what they call the green construction. And there's research to show you what are the power, what are the economics of it. Our esteemed caller was one of the first voices, and probably right now one of the only voices that I said, listen, there's so much we can do. We have a limit on what we can do, but one of the greatest things that we have the opportunity to do is to be an example to the world as it relates to the climate crisis that is upon us, and advocates that we should have a national planting on the coast of all the vegetation that is adapted to the coast. We know that there's mangrove, cocoa plum, there's a lot of plant vegetation that can go along the coast, and we should be actively growing, planting these things. So rather than to be in a scenario where power would get rid of these things, actually what we're supposed to do, that we have one policy about growing. I mean, you could go online right now and they have, the way that I watched this video, see if I can remember it, I think it might be in Senegal, where they have been using drones to plant mangrove. I don't know if you've seen that.
Definitely, I followed.
And it's amazing. And I'm like, that is the time we're living in. How on earth should we be having a conversation this morning and a press conference where one of the main topics is about stopping the eradication of mangrove? Like, it blows my mind.
And by who they lead it? You're going to say, but Mose, go back to that. We have the minister. God, I don't know. Anyway, talking about, you know what? Some people don't like when you cut down mangrove, but we are cut it and plant it back. Guys, you can't plant back one ecosystem, and it just don't make no sense. But more than that, I rather live mirror life, whereby I could reflect back. There's a whole documentary that you and I have to do. I've consistently for 5 years doing all of this to save heritage. There's a lot of technique. But the only way I think you can't stay, that only in the classroom. I haven't been much in the classroom more than when I put my head on my pillow, but I go out there for a sun, king tide, spring tide, any phase of moon, and in the dark, it's crazy what happened was with climate crisis, with the water movement and the structure. So we have discussed that further, but again, no export. I just willing for land, and I don't have no other plan but for stay at Belize and stay up on the seaside.
All right. Brother Norman? Like you had the example you want to mention about what happened in Hopkins with mangrove.
Well, what actually happened, there was a developer, but he really pushed forward to get to his property. But loan mangrove there, loan mangrove, you understand? We even suggest to him, try to build a Picado for go to your property, man. You can't build a whole highway to get to your property. We don't allow that. And he was stopped immediately. With
people power.
Yeah, people power. People come out, protest against that. That's why I have to big up Marley Nunes, because he's one of the main activists that happens to fight these things. He just broke down a fence here, a white man got put a fence across the street. You understand? He went out there physically and broke that down. Right? And that the people always will stand behind. That's the reason I say here openly that I don't run village council under Marley Nunes from Hopkins. He's a warrior, true warrior like me. So there are people who I fight for.
You said that they straight to you upon a lone fisherman.
Lone fisherman, one female.
All right, my brother.
You rank in a good way. You have backing. You know what in the top about. I know people from upstairs they tell you what happened down there. Then they experience it every day, you know, firsthand. But I must say, Mose, it's amazing how far we have came as a country thinking that foreign investment would bail us out of where we are. We got a man over so north away, not even worth mentioning him, who really the lockdown pan $1. So I can't any sitting I get to any young boy or anyone in between, male, female. Belize will save itself from within. It will be a bottom-up approach. It will come from the root. This trickle-down effect played out. Every country, every sovereignty is saying put their country first. We're not even asking for dominance at this level. We're asking for fairness, equal treatment in your own yard. And I must point out when we talk about the mangrove, you remember we have the guys there down and we have some perfect example of sustainable development. Hyde Key, Ivan Leslie. Mangrove is the sexiest thing, and I remember good in a different presentation, someone said, let's make it our national tree. Great idea. But even if we don't reach there, let's appreciate it for what it does. It's secure with a storm. It take care of with food. It beautify the place because the greenery and the scenery. Moses top heavy on sustainable development have to stop. When we talk about you are pushing 100 million in our investment, 50 million, when you could go and live right within the mangrove under 100,000. So your overhead to every $1 million, my question is this. To every $1 million we said foreign own investor put in, what detriment to the environment and to nature it costs us. So we need to sexy up the mangrove. Bill within.
WUB, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brother Mose.
Good morning.
Yeah, very, very interesting topic. I want to ask your guest, Mr. Garbutt, and I guess there's somebody else in
But
there.
Naaman Castillo Hopkins in the house.
Yeah, Mr. Castillo. I never listened to the whole show, so I may have missed something that they said before, but what is the status of the key? Is it silky? And at the top of silky, is it eroding? Is it accreting? Is it steady state? 1 and 2, and I want to ask the gentleman for comment on what kind of assistance they may be getting in terms of project financing, and that is in the context of the Belize Blue Bond as a conservation fund. So I just wanted to ask Mr. Garbutt and Mr. Castillo if they could comment on that if they never did before. Thank you, Mose.
All right.
Just want to say first of all, man, Silky was by now it would have been history. We have three Silkies. They have the North Silky, middle, and the South. The middle one is still there on the map, but it's underwater, right? You have maybe a sandbar, and that was the biggest one. That one now we're looking at, that was only 21 foot wide when we started. Right now it's over 100 by 300 foot wide. It's been steady and accreting consistently with the help of love, the help of the general public. And I lead this initiative, and I would be the first to say this, man. I really don't want, I don't want to come off wrong. I would, as the person spearheading Silky, I wouldn't want no foreign money touch that. Because it's bigger than a key. This bigger than me and you. This is for the next generation for sure. When we put for we resource together what we could do, no foreign money touch there. There was a big money we're going to disappear when we fix it, well, we don't have to, make we left that so. My point though, this is an example for the future generation to know when we come together what we could do. I would like them to bring back Sergeant Key. And we need some money, some foreign money for Laughing Bird Key and then different key. But the point of Silk Key, if I continue to stay alive and these kids that take over the Manta would be the best example of Belizean coming together because of heritage, because of love and passion, not because of foreign money. I don't want nothing to do with that foreign money. If it touch Silk Key, it have done itself. I may shrine up that jail because of that. I don't want no nasty money come in at that. It's just my 2 cents.
The value of teaching example of what you would call essentially the people in doing it. I see that point there completely. Like, you have to have examples of what you have done for self so that you inspire others, but more importantly, I agree with you, inspire future generations to know that it can be done, that it's within their power to do for self and to help self, strengthen self. As our dear sister loves to say, only the people will see of the people. It's a beautiful, beautiful saying. It's powerful, it is true, but the people need to see examples of it being done for them to really understand, yes, it's real, it is true. They have to feel it, they have to see it. And so what you have there is not only the physical beauty of Silky and its restoration, but the example of it and the spirit of it, how it was done, as something to pass on. It's great. Support that. Gentlemen, I'm out of time with this segment. I, again, know that you will be in the news cycle tonight and today, for that matter, as you have your press conference. Again, you are there to be reached for people who want to be a part of the advocacy of saving the jewel and the parts of it that are critical for our survival. You're absolutely right. Around the planet, everybody is now focused on self-preservation. And it's not that we don't see the power of collaboration, but a planet that's leaning towards self, you have to pay attention to self You know, for to pay attention to self before, but for damn sure 2025, you can't afford for not to pay attention to self, because nobody will pay attention to it for you right now. Not think that any money they rain down for out of Europe or States if you save you.
History
People they spend their money on gun and tank and plane and bomb. Because that's the way the world there right now. You better believe it. Then people have taken their budgets up by 2-3%. So even within when they spend on their own social well-being is being reduced, you and they had to sit down that anybody got money for you. We better be about how we and save we. Brothers, thank you all very much for joining.
Thank you.
We break, we come back.
Parin set belis nang
It's 8:43. Welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on this Monday morning, 19th of May 2025. Mose Hyde in the house. The telephone number 280-5848. We spent about an hour this morning talking with our brothers, reporting to us two of the strongest, loudest advocates for the protection of our marine resources in a way that ensures the survival, the economic, sustainable survival of fisher folk and people involved with fly fishing. They represent the Fly Fishing Association, but that's only what they do. It's not what is the extent of what they're about. They're about making sure that policies and actions do not undermine the wealth, the value, and the economic opportunities that come from it. And so we give thanks to the brothers for always being willing to speak out, to enlighten. A lot of that is very enlightening, and we hope that once you've been enlightened, that your understanding leads to the kind of support that is needed and the changes that have to occur. We have tried to say to you that when a man comes and tell you a flat is of value, a flat, it's not just about, oh, that's on sand. People prefer sand to bush. People prefer sand or beach to mangrove. It's, it's, I guess, from a standpoint of personal fun, it works for you. But we have a call. Krem, good morning, WB. Good morning.
Yes, greetings, Brother Mose. It's me once again, another 60-second ceremony. My 2 cents on the ecology. I'm not an ecologist. I have no expertise on that. But I have common sense, which is not common. I believe that anybody that is interfering with the mangroves anywhere in the world, especially here in Belize, that is our home, should be charged as crime. Because cutting mangroves in the main area or wherever God put it is like they cut the wings to a bird or the six to a fish. So anybody who come from abroad, from any country, I don't care, Europe or any part, we have the dollars and one cut the mangrove should be penalized by amount. I know for experience, living around Versailles, the Belize city, that Versailles is a cashier for my family house in that area there. Because every time a hurricane comes, every time a storm comes, I ask Versailles, and they leave a couple of mangroves that still left around there. Protect that area from anything. Like the leaf wooden house standing strong for the past 40 or more years. Check out the mangroves. So whoever cut mangroves any area in the world, but especially Belize, should be charged as a criminal, very high crime, big money, and force them to have to put it back in the wherever they cut it from. But again, I can tell you earlier, people they go by dollarism, and many of these people are running the countries, they need some money. They don't care whatever proposal, as long as money involved, then they're done with it. See? No, it's a pity they move too far, then where I gone, because I know what happens. If any area at the sea, because I'm not a fisherman neither, if any area at the sea have tuna fish, I personally don't believe it. But I heard some weeks ago, a month ago, a lady from that area, the town was some tuna fish or something, but I never hear that the hot area, like Caribbean hot water, have tuna fish. But they done that. Thanks, Brother Mo.
All right, brother. Give thanks. And again, just to kind of finish off the thought, right, that when we put out brochures about Belize, we put out brochures about, we want to show the beautiful blue sea and you show the beach, and coconut trees. And we know that international people love our beach. People love that. a natural beach is a beautiful thing. It's very I don't know, somebody who wants lay down on no beach, that's not my thing. But one beach, that's still a beautiful thing for watch. Coastline, you know, I get it. And you do have some islands that, because of their design, they have nice sandy beaches, and that's a thing. But we are designed differently. We don't have, you know, we have different types of beaches and different type of sand. We have some areas that are known for their beaches. You know, when you think about Placencia, you think about its beach. It's beautiful. But a lot of islands don't have that, right? That's not the way they are structured and they're designed. But when somebody gets control of a mango patch and say, I want to put something here, one of the first things when they want to figure out how to do that, to make it sandy. So we got a nicely sandy area. And so one of the ways you try to do that, some people go down and want to dredge. We have a call. Krem, good morning. WB.
Yeah, morning, Mose. Top of the morning. Nigel here, buddy. Welcome back.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, man. I just want, you know, kind of call in reference to the whole situation that is happening out at the Sunfly Key area. You know, the BFF continue to stand in solidarity with the Flat Fishers Association. We are partners, we are brothers, our livelihood depends on the same resources. And we have, the BFF have members that work out of those areas, especially, you know, the Sunfly Key is made up of several different islands. And as I understand it, from one of our members, she was telling me that it is possible that a portion of one of the islands that is owned by an individual is either being developed by him or he has sold it and it's being developed by someone else. But the issue is, it comes with
Hello?
same type of development or sustainable development happening over and over. They talk about this land policy. Again, we are not seeing anything substantial to address these problems. Now, this fisher is telling me in particular, because she works in the area, she's saying that, Nigel, this is affecting our livelihood. We cannot even catch our sprats anymore. And she's saying that they have to go further in order to catch their sprats. We have sailboat fishers that normally harbor in that area. It's saying that they are being affected as well because they have to move out of the area. There are rocks around some of these keys that the fishers would go and try to harvest when it's lobster time. That is affecting that specific species in the industry as well. So I just want to join in champion the cause that we need to address these unsustainable development. Whoever is issuing all these permits, while they're issuing all these permits, there's no consultation to understand what and understand how these unsustainable developments are impacting the livelihood and well-being of our fisher folks. So I want to continue to advocate against unsustainable development for our members as well as for the Flat Fishers Association.
I give thanks, my brother, for the reasoning. Always great. And I think it's important to just understand that the development is a natural thing. Human beings shape their environments according to what they want and their preferences. And you know, even somebody will give a lot for put one house, want have to chop down bush. In some cases, you know, you're getting a low-lying area, you have to try full up, you put in clay, and you know, you shape a thing, you have to build a house, you have to find a space to do it. We impact our environment. That's human beings, but we have to always do it in a way that is as logic-based for our own survival, has to be as an intelligent, and we have to do it in a fair way. And you only have to start the calculation upon where the value of the flat being untouched as compared to turning the flat into sand for a beach. The sand for the beach, especially if they're on privately owned island, represents one opportunity for who own the island and they relax and they have that value. And what you're doing now is you have cut off the value for everybody who make one living off of that, not only presently, but going forward generations. You have eliminated this value. So just from a straight point of intelligence and economic numbers, dollar and cents, it's really and truly illogical. It's dumb for you to just squander a great jewel that has been given to you so that you could have turn something into a sandy beach where, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you got some people fly in for come and chill upon that, but you can't compare that to the value of having intact the place where part fish basically develop. Not only develop for a plate, but develop for people who want to catch it and spend millions of dollars annually for one experience how to catch them fish, and the experience of catching those fishes is like, it makes no sense. So I completely support the position of the fishers and the fly fishers on this matter. So give thanks.
Respect, brother.
Yeah, man. We'll take a final break, come back and wrap up. All right, everyone, thank you for being here with us with health and strength. We come back tomorrow morning at Tuesday for the Tuesday morning edition of the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. As we always do, we thank the crew who make it possible. Larry G at Creme Radio at XTV, Mr. Cliff Lewis, The Glow, and directing this morning, Mr. Alexi Bilal. Have a great Monday. As always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes.